Business editor Xolani Mbanjwa now joins us from the former minister's home, pardon me. His body arrived there a short time ago, and we understand that there was a private viewing for family and friends. Xolani, the mood Naledi described to us earlier outside the house as somber and very, very quiet. And, you know, his life, in a sense, was something that was inevitably not going to continue to be unobtrusive. It was going to be something that found him in the crosshairs many a time. Perhaps just as you share what you're observing there, reflect on some of those battles that he had undertaken.
Good morning, Iman. Yes, here in Pretoria, it is a somber morning as the former Minister of Finance and the former Minister of Public Enterprises and, of course, the first Commissioner of the South African Revenue Service takes his final steps home as he is being viewed here by family and friends. And we spoke earlier to Kumbuzo Nshabeni, the minister in the presidency, explaining how they revered him. And she is currently inside now, and the other person that we actually saw is the Reserve Bank Governor, Lesetja Kganyago, who is inside with family and friends. And we were expecting to see other people, mostly it's family and friends, but we were expecting to see other people that actually reflected his political life, which of course we heard over the weekend from the former president, Jacob Zuma, that during the times of apartheid, he actually went to Pravin Gordhan in the early years to actually borrow money so that he could continue the struggle against apartheid by actually going to Swaziland to continue the underground work of the ANC. But the history of Pravin Gordhan, you will remember, he took a very good South African Revenue Service in the early 2009s and made it a great, really organization revered around the world in terms of how it collects a revenue that actually makes sure that services are delivered in the country. And there were so many battles that he fought there. We remember that the so-called rogue unit that we had become accustomed now to know that it wasn't really a rogue unit. It was a unit that actually went to high-profile individuals to look at whether their tax affairs are in order, amongst other investigations that they conducted. And that during that tenure was reined in, and that unit was actually hollowed out. And we've seen many leaders saying that there is now work that has started to make sure that the part where the rebuilding of SARS to its former glory is something that is going to take time, but is certain. So the reason why there is a lot of money to dish around when it comes to the government, or should I say, money for services that are quite important, it is because of the South African Revenue Service, and it is his tenure there at SARS that propelled him into cabinet, where he spent a lot of time in those corridors in Parliament and also in the State House, where he made sure that whether he was deployed to public enterprises, whether he was deployed to the National Treasury, and whether he was deployed to the local government, municipality, making sure that municipalities are actually on the straight and narrow. He made sure that he left his mark. So we're talking about a man here who does have a steadfast history in making sure that he remained a bulwark to anti-corruption. And that is actually now in the annals of history with what has been said and found in the corruption state capture investigation, the Commission of Investigation into State Capture, which was a really important time in South Africa as far as making sure that those who are actually driving malfeasance are held accountable.
And we'll continue to reflect on his life and legacy, Xolani, in the days and weeks ahead. We know that his funeral gets underway on Thursday. This will be taking place in KwaZulu-Natal in Durban. Tell us more about the memorial service and the expectations of the funeral, and throw in as well some of the observations of people who've come to hold the hand of his widow now, Vanitha, and members of the family who are saying goodbye to their father under circumstances, father and husband, under circumstances that they didn't anticipate. His diagnosis was recent and his health deteriorated quite quickly towards the end. All right, I'm not sure that Xolani can hear me, but we are expecting the private viewing service now to conclude at any moment. And then we expect the next stage in this milestone of his goodbye ceremony to take place here in Johannesburg, hosted by his own party, the ANC, as they convene a memorial service. And then that Category 2 special state funeral will commence on Thursday with a private cremation service as well in KwaZulu-Natal. We'll see if we've got Xolani back just to wrap this one up. Xolani, we're just asking you a little earlier about some of the people that you would have seen there and some of the expectations for how we bring all of this full circle in the hours and days ahead.
Yes, Iman. Yes, the Reserve Bank governor still inside. Of course, the South African Revenue Service and the Reserve Bank sharing quite mutually a symbiotic relationship when it comes to revenue collection and protecting the value of that money that is collected. We saw the Minister in the Presidency, Kumbuzo Nshabeni, as well. And what we are seeing behind us is the hearse that brought his remains here at his home in the east of Pretoria. And we've seen a number of elderly members of his family moving in and out and to view his remains. And we're expecting, of course, as we were told, that there would be more members of the ANC coming through to pay their respects. But we now know that, of course, we are having the ANC in Gauteng at the Johannesburg City Hall later today. And we will bring you that on Newzroom Afrika as they pay their respects. In the next couple of minutes, we are expecting that his body is going to be carried in a cortege here to be taken away. And we'll expect that there will be more people coming to pay their respects, even when his remains are not here. And we will be bringing you some of those last moments and how really he is going to be remembered as we work towards a build-up to that funeral at the Durban International Convention Center in Tegwini on Thursday.
Xolani Mbanjwa, we'll leave it there and we'll come back to you in just a moment or two. More good news.